जय हिंद दोस्तों, मैं हूं मेजर मोहम्मद अली शाह और मेरे को बड़ी खुशी हो रही है कि अभी इस वक्त मैं एक ऐसी शख्सियत के साथ अभी गुफ्तगू में होऊंगा जो तारुफ की कोई मोहताज नहीं है। खास तौर से असम राइफल में तो सब जानते हैं, नॉर्थ ईस्ट पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया में तो सब जानते हैं, लेकिन मेन स्ट्रीम जो कि असम राइफल्स में नहीं है, जो कि आर्मी ऑफिसर हैं, वो सब जानते हैं। लेकिन और भी लोग हैं, मैं चाहूंगा कि जो अच्छा काम जो करते हैं लोग, वो सामने आए हैं। तो आज की तारीख में, आज सबसे पहले तो यस, जी हाँ, हैप्पी कारगिल विजय दिवस टू एवरीवन। और आज का दिन बहुत ही शुभ दिन है, बल्कि वी अटेन्ड विक्ट्री इन कारगिल एंड टुडे वी हैव दिस renowned personality, Mrs. Pushpa Nair, who is the president of the army of the Assam Rifles Wives Welfare Association. So like the way you have heard AWA, NAVA, Army Wives Welfare Association, Navy Wives Welfare Association, similarly the Assam Rifles Wives Welfare Association, who she presides over, and she handles that so well. Let's go forward and talk to her. Ma'am, Jai Hind, and thank you very much for spending time, ma'am.
थैंक यू मेजर शाह एंड सभी भारतवासियों को कारगिल दिवस की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं और जय हिंद।
शुक्रिया मैम। मैम, आपने वक्त निकाला and that too on Kargil Vijay Divas. I am really indebted and humble. Ma'am, let's talk about your journey and your love for the northeast part of India. Because when I spoke to you, you were all fascinated for the northeast part of India, and of course General Nair has had several tenures in the northeast part of India. In fact, अगर कोई northeast specialist कोई जहन में आता है, it's General Nair, of course, General PC Nair. And ma'am, your work as the president, Arwa, it's commendable actually. So let's talk about your initial brush with the Northeast, how it happened first, and your journey so far, ma'am.
Okay, I would say this journey began 34 years back when we got married. एंड आई बीइंग फ्रॉम मुंबई, वहाँ पे तो हम कंक्रीट जंगल जो बोलते हैं वहाँ पे, और वहाँ से ईस्ट की शुरुआत हुई, जहाँ पे पहला स्टेशन जो था वो सिलीगुड़ी था। तो और जो कैंटोनमेंट लोकेशन है वो जंगल के बीचों बीच था। तो सीधे कंक्रीट जंगल से लेके एक्चुअल जंगल में पहुंच गई मैं, और मैंने सिर्फ किताबों में और पिक्चरों में देखा था जंगल। तो इट वाज द जर्नी बिगैन देयर। और उसके बाद इनकी बार बार पोस्टिंग नॉर्थ ईस्ट में हुई। तो यहाँ पे कहावत है कि एक बार ब्रह्मपुत्र क्रॉस करो तो उसको 7 बार क्रॉस करना होता है। तो मुझे लगता है मैं तो अभी 70 या शायद 700 बार भी क्रॉस कर चुकी होंगी, क्योंकि हर दूसरा टेन्योर मेरे हस्बैंड का यही रहा है। तो ये जो जगह है, यहाँ पे जब पहुंचेंगे तब हम रियलाइज करते हैं कि सुंदरता तो एक अलग लेवल है, पर यहाँ के लोग इतने अच्छे हैं और इतने मिलनसार है कि किताबों में 7 स्टेट्स के नाम के अलावा हमने कुछ भी नहीं पढ़ा हुआ होता है आज तक। अनफॉर्चुनेटली यही सिचुएशन है, लोगों को सोचना पड़ता है कि कौन से 7 स्टेट्स हैं नॉर्थ ईस्ट के। लेकिन मैं बहुत बहुत ही शुक्रगुजार हूँ खुदा का, भगवान का, कि हमें ये मौका मिला कि हम बार बार यहाँ आए और यहाँ के लोगों के साथ मिलजुल के रह पाए। सो आई एम रियली ग्रेटफुल एंड गॉड हैज बीन वेरी काइंड।
Ma'am, that's so nice to hear. Ma'am, of course, from a concrete jungle, Mumbai, coming to the actual jungle, to the northeast part of India. मैं नॉर्थ ईस्ट पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया से फिर कंक्रीट जंगल मुंबई गया था मैं। So I can well imagine the transition. एक तो अलग जंगल। मैम, also little bird told me in 1996, if I'm not mistaken, you had escaped a very dreaded ambush. ये मणिपुर में हुआ था आपके साथ। अगर if you would throw some light on that, we would love to hear that story, ma'am.
Actually, my husband was posted as a company commander in 7th Assam Rifle, and he was in the post, and we ladies, including the CO's wife, we were all at the battalion headquarters, which was in Thobal. So this, I don't remember the exact date, I'm sorry, but we were at the evening time. It was we were with the families, and I was with the officer families. I was with my children, and we suddenly heard a huge cracking as a burst. And I typically being from Mumbai, like I said, for me any sound, loud sound, immediately I think of Diwali where we are bursting crackers. So I said, is there a celebration here? Why is the sound of cracker coming? And everybody else who was there, because I had been there for about just 2 months or so. So I really didn't know what actually insurgency situation is. All the people were alert, and they said that no, this is a blast. And we came running there. We saw that. So thankfully, I was not right there at the gate, but this school convoy was ambushed, and by God's grace, the children escaped, but the other vehicles got caught in the ambush. And a soldier, being a soldier, one of the soldiers actually jumped onto that grenade which was thrown into the LPT. So we saw his body, getting shattered, and that was really, I would say, very moving is an understatement. It was a very shocking moment for us to realize that we, because being an army officer's wife, we have never been in action, we only hear of action. And that, when I saw it live, I realized the kind of sacrifice a defense person, an AR soldier or an army a soldier makes selflessly. He didn't for a second think of how do I jump out of the vehicle. He jumped onto the grenade to take the impact, so that the impact outside is reduced. Who else can do this other than completely patriotic person who feels so strongly for saving the nation and the people around. So hats off to them. I think boy's sacrifice is what has made us safe in that headquarter. Otherwise, we would have been probably, the grenade would have come on us, and we all could have been killed. So that person has sacrificed his life for all the people who were there in the headquarter that day. So
Oh
yes,
my
this
goodness.
incident remains etched in my memory, and I'm really, really, I wouldn't say words are not enough to say the kind of sacrifices the Assam Rifle soldier makes. So I, as an our president, think it is not my duty. It is my, I would say, it is a kind of need that every person, not only the Assam Rifle as a president, every individual to think about the soldier and his family. Because
Oh
today the
my
situation is fine. Tomorrow, what happens? Next second, what happens? He doesn't know. Like you say, in the defense, you are on duty 24/7, and that's what I experienced that there, because you found the the gate people guarding the gate, the other person, because every vehicle has probably two boys going, because I'm not too sure. See, these are military, this which we are not sure of how many people go in the convoy, what that, because we're not involved in that. But this was something that I saw it live, and it was very, very, I would say, a shocking moment, and also very, very touching moment for you, which ends in your life. So I keep pulling my husband's leg. You are the officer, but I have witnessed the ambush. So,
that's
that's what he. So I keep pulling his leg on that score.
ma'am, quite a, I can well imagine the, seeing a soldier jump live on a grenade in front of your eyes, knowing fully well that इसके बाद वो बचेंगे नहीं. इन्होंने अपनी जान की परवाह करे बगैर, अपनी जान की बाजी लगाकर, अपनी जान पे खेलकर ग्रेनेड के ऊपर बस कूद पड़े. And I mean, that is the kind of valor, the sacrifice that we have. I mean, I was interviewing one Lieutenant Colonel Thakur, ma'am. When we both were lieutenants in JNK, we had done a combined operation together. And there was a house entry drill which Lieutenant Thakur was to do. And he had told his men, अगर उग्रवादी ग्रेनेड फेंकता है, जिसके सामने ग्रेनेड आता है वो बस ग्रेनेड के ऊपर लेट जाएगा. and he was prepared himself. If it comes before him, he will lie down. So I mean, I can well imagine what you had seen, ma'am. Ma'am, आर्मी में पोस्टिंग होती है, फील्ड पीस। असम राइफल्स के सिपाही देश की हमने शान बढ़ाई, और हम लोग असम राइफल्स में तो जवान हमारे केवल बॉर्डर सरहद पे नॉर्थ ईस्ट पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया में ही रहते हैं। So it's like a field posting for them throughout, and many a times away from their families. As President Arba, you have done a lot of good work for their families, for their welfare. Could you like to just throw some light on certain things, ma'am? Not just I know it might be very uncomfortable for you to talk about, to praise your own thing. I'm not asking you to praise, but just which you and your team together did for the families, ma'am.
First is we try and create spaces where the families can stay, even if it is because, like you said, they're all the time doing border guarding and counter insurgency duties. So there is no concept of peace station in Assam Rifles. So we create accommodation, and we are happy that most of the places the families are allowed to stay. Yes, for education reason, and sometimes the areas are so remote that the families, if their children are school going, they cannot stay with their husband. So wherever possible, we ensure that our families are able to stay with their husbands, and I encourage them, because I feel that uh, you know a lady in the house is a de-stressing factor for the husbands who generally do not share. I think it is men are made that way. Wives will crib, they will shout, they will share, they will talk to their friends, and they can share their grievances. But men, when they are in stress, they generally don't share. And wife is the person who gives a calming effect on the men. So I encourage the families, because they also feel, and it's important, because present scenario we see that the mental health of anybody across, be it a defense person or a civilian, there's a lot of mental stress. And if your family is together, then I think it's a big de-stress for the men as well as their children, for their wives, and especially the children. It is important. I said, as a growing up child, you need to stay with your father. You need to see the kind of work your father does, and to be able to connect. So that creates naturally a respect for the child, for the defense forces, because otherwise, you're only hearing of stories, you're not seeing it. But when the child is with the father, he's seeing what his father is doing. And other thing I would like to say, that the army personnel's wife or the defense personnel's wives are definitely mentally made of a different matter, because I keep telling them, I said, you need to be stronger than any civilian wife, because you don't know when your husband is going to be called on duty for maybe more days together. Even if you're staying with him, he may go on a call and he may not come back for days together, or when he's going to come back, you don't know. But you have to have that belief that he is definitely going to come back victorious. And otherwise, we attend our, we hold regular functions. We have certain agenda based on mental health, financial planning, providing higher education for the wards and even the families, because these days I encourage the uh, girls and the women to study, because we have open platforms, we have online system of education. So the plethora is endless. So I keep encouraging them to take up, and then we do have talks from various experts. We have counseling sessions, so that there is sustenance. I don't believe in doing too many things, but I do a few things, but I ensure that it is sustained, so that the effect of whatever you're doing is remains for a longer period of time. So the latest that I have done is, I won't say I have done, I would say the team has done. It's not my prerogative, it's the entire team. That we have done is, we have signed an MOU with the CRC here for the special needs children. I was keen on doing this, because when the families move, the CRC is available in all the states. So a child who requires a special attention can continue, even if he goes to his, home or a home station, that is maybe UP, Bihar, anywhere else in India, then he can sustain his classes or training or skill development, whatever he is doing. And they also train the parents, because these special children parents also require certain kind of training, so that they are able to maintain the same thing when the child is at home. Because unfortunately, a child who's over 18 years of age are not allowed to go to school here, so then what do you do with a child who's 18-year-old and who really cannot do other kinds of education because he has his disability? So we are looking at that, and this CRC is going to be a big help in that. So that's the last thing that we as a team have done. But otherwise we keep doing a lot of things which is concerning the welfare of the families, and also for the war widows, as well as the wives of servicemen who have passed away. So many of these activities are more contemporary, so that they can manage the current world. Cyber security, again, we keep having lectures on that. So it's basically moved from what it used to be during my times when I was a major's wife. There has been a complete change in scenario. So we have to keep abreast, so that the families are not fall lagging behind in what the world is exposed to.
Ma'am, I was in conversation with Colonel Rajiv Barman. He is a paras officer who had served with the Assam Rifles, and we had served together in 2005 in Nagaland together. So he was mentioning in this live interview that the Assam Rifle soldiers are perhaps even better than the para soldiers from Special Force. He drew this comparison that they were as good at par or perhaps better than the Special Forces soldiers. That was so heartening to hear. Ma'am, you mentioned about the soldiers who've been killed in action. So you mentioned about the war widows. So, ma'am, after soldiers killed in action and the war widows, do the respective battalions make a special effort to keep in touch with the war widow and provide all the necessary aid to her?
Absolutely. Every unit we have a person who is given the responsibility. So there are JCOs, and if the JCOs are less in depending on the area where they are, then we have senior havaldars who are given responsibility for a certain number of widows. So it is their duty to get in touch with them every month, see that their requirements are met. We have made cards which especially for soldiers who are serving or who are going to retire, so that they get to know what are their duties, what are their entitlements that they are. So we keep addressing. Similarly for the widows, we try. And because CSR is also coming up in a big way, we try to accommodate certain wards of the children who are not eligible to be entering, or they have crossed the age to join the forces, or maybe they have not been able to clear the test. So then we try and accommodate them. We have connection with CSR, so that they are employed or they are provided with skill training. So we keep doing this, and we have is allotted JCOs who are responsible, so that those feedbacks keeps coming regularly to the battalion. And we have also started that like when the raising day is there, we he I wouldn't say I have done it. My husband has given the and instructions that it is a complete battalion's day of celebration. So it is important that they get in touch with the retired JCOs, ORs, invite them over for the raising day. So the battalions have started doing that, so the connect is maintained. Otherwise over a period of time you tend to miss so we and then they have started doing it. So you do find a lot of retired soldiers, their wives, their families, JCOs, other ranks, they all try and attend the raising day function, and they establish the connect back.
Ma'am, and that's so heartening to know. I remember on 7 December 2023, in fact, 8 December, we had the Major Bob Khating Memorial Lecture at USI, organized by the Assam Rifles. And on 7 December, we had this dinner at Manik Shaw Center in Delhi. And that time, all the existing DJ Sam rifles who were based in Delhi NCR were invited, and we had dinner together. It was so heartening to see that kind of an atmosphere where senior DGs were there, and it was a great feeling, ma'am. Ma'am, what is the difference you found between Ava and Arva?
Uh, the major challenge, I would say, is, like I said, that there is no concept of field and peace. So, the when the families are uh, there in remote places, even when you want to do certain things, there are no resources available there. And many of the things that we want to do, not necessarily can be done online. So we try, like when we're having talks or lectures, we are not able to really, because internet option is also not available. So in that way, providing whatever you have planned gets challenging to be able to do that. The one major difference, I would say, about Ava and Arva is, in the especially he being from infantry, the regimentation concept is very strong, because we all belong to certain clan or community, the soldiers. Here it's pan India, so you can see that complete, when we say of national integration, which is there, is so much present in every battalion, because everybody is, they're from all parts of India. You can see them there in the battalion. So you can say that is one difference that I find in infantry battalion, where, because the families belong to, whereas here it's pan India. And the other, I would say that because we have Mahila soldiers, so you find that the women also are more forthcoming, because they see these Mahila soldiers. So they think that if the soldier is able to do, because the Mahila soldiers are, doing all kind of operations. Unlike, where we would find that officers in the Indian Army are, restricted to certain corps only, whereas in the Assam Rifle, the Mahila soldier is doing all kind of operational duties. So the women also see that, the families see that. So I think they are probably more stronger and bolder in terms of dealing with situation. Uh, and the awareness of Northeast is very much there in the Assam Rifle families, because they are here, so they see that, they respect what is there, unlike what the rest of India is, where they are not aware of what Northeast is all about. So this is the major difference that I find between the families of Assam Rifle and Army.
Ma'am,
So that's.
ma'am. I'm absolutely to the right on the Mahila soldiers. In fact, a lot of respect and regard to them, and they do such difficult jobs. And in the year 2019, when I gave my first TEDx talk, a day before that, we saw the first lady officer from the Assam Rifles, Major Khushbu Kanwar, who's a big poster you have at the LOAR on top. They were leading the Mahila contingent. She led the Assam Rifles marching contingent. It was a very, very proud moment. Assam Rifles is doing a commendable job, human service. And ma'am, I sincerely thank you for heading Arva in the way you have headed it. And a lot of officers and their men and their wives, they all speak very, very highly of you. They have the high regard for General Nair and you, ma'am. Ma'am, I sincerely thank you for your time, and any last message before I let you go you would like to throw out in the universe, ma'am.
Um, I would only say that, keep, don't go by the rumors that you hear about all the defense forces. You have to hear it from the horse's mouth, see it to believe. He's saying, don't believe hearsay. Every soldier of the of India, be it Assam Rifles, be it the Indian Army, Navy, Air Force, all soldiers are completely sincerely doing their job. So respect that. And it's a very common a saying that's there. I still say it, because they spare their days and nights for you, every other Indian citizen is able to sleep peacefully. So I would just like to quote saying which is written in the cemetery in Kohima, which was the for the World War cemetery, which says, "For always remember that for your tomorrow they gave their today." So
Absolutely,
every
ma'am.
soldier who has sacrificed his life, he has given his youth, he has given his today for your tomorrow.
Absolutely, ma'am. Ma'am, thank you very much for your time. It was such a delight speaking to you, ma'am. And Jai Hind, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Jai Hind.